Stay tuned. Your program will begin shortly.
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 Tell them where to find us on the radio. 'Cause they couldn't find it last time.
Welcome to High Valley Sports Online live for our Wednesday night coaches show from the Harp and Habit at Franciscan Square in Steubenville, Ohio. It's Ohio Week 11. It's playoff time in Ohio. West Virginia Week 10. I'm being joined, this is Steve Daly being joined by a little switch up this week. I'm usually with Matt Bellardine. He's off tonight. I'm being joined by Ray Suckoch and Dan Vogel running the dials. We'll remind everybody Wednesday nights at the Harp and Habit is wing night, and we're being joined first by head coach Reno Suckoch of Steubenville Bay Red. This portion of the show being brought to you by Fort Steuben Maintenance. Coach, coming off a Week 10 win against Wheeling Park 38-7. Wheeling Park struck first, but then you answer with 38 unanswered points while playing extremely well in all three phases of the game to collect your 7th win in a row on senior night. Santino Haney led the way with 18 of 24 passing for 261 yards and 3 touchdowns. He completed passes to 8 different receivers. He added 78 yards on the ground on 6 carries. As a team, you compiled 476 total yards of offense. Zaire Scurry had 6 catches for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jeremiah Hinton added 4 catches for 84 yards. As a team, you rushed for 215 yards defensively. You limited Brendan Wack to just 72 yards on 19 carries, and Park was held as a team to 244 total yards. On special teams, you converted a fake field goal and a fake punt, and Cole Bowers kicked a 35-yard field goal. So, Coach, you can't really ask for much more, a better game than what you turned out against Wheeling Park.
It was a great ending to a great season, a great regular season, and I'm just happy as heck for the coaches and the players and the parents and everybody that was walking in the alleys with us the first couple games. You know, we were trying to avoid Market Street, and we were walking in the alleys, and then sort of peeked our way out, and now we're on Sunset Boulevard and getting ready for a playoff game.
Absolutely. Right?
Coach, I want to congratulate you just on the fact of the bounce back that you guys had after, a very, very tough start. I think it's a credit to the coaches and the kids. I'll get a chance to see you a few times. Constant improvement. I know you don't want to single anybody out, but I will. I think, by the end of the year, your offensive line was really, really, really improved. I mean, playing together as a unit. And the second thing, I think Santino Haney came into his own, got his feet underneath him, and really gave you that downfield opportunity. Yeah,
he started out playing like his dad, and ended up playing like his mother. So that was a good plus for us. But the offensive line chemistry. It's chemistry. It's just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. They just have to get together, and they have to communicate, and sometimes it's verbal communication, and sometimes just silent communication, knowing what they're doing. And but it's just important that the offensive line, the tight end, and the fullback are all on the same page.
Yeah, Coach, that's something I think a lot of people don't realize, as you go through a season, what have you, especially in your blocking schemes. You have defensive fronts that may stem or move or what have you, and now, these guys got to know on the fly, hey, are we doubling, chipping off, or, am I just down blocking single? Am I going straight to the linebacker? So those are things that, really did develop well throughout the season. I saw you early in the year. I get to see you kind of mid-season, a little bit towards the later part of the year, and I got to agree with Raymond, the way that they came together and where they're playing at right now is really an advantage to you going into this playoff part of the season.
That's why we only run 4 different plays. We run 2 gap plays and 2 zone plays, and just try to make them go and run a little bit of stuff off of them. But those are the 2 things. Then play action pass, and you add the quick game to it, and it's just it just takes time. But in all defense, the first 2 teams we opened up with were good football teams, and if we played them again, might lose again, but I don't think that we'd get 30 pointed. But that's neither here nor there. That's past, and the turning point of the season was that caused fumble with Wiggins in the Mooney game, and I think that we've been on a roll since then.
Absolutely. So you finished, Coach, as the 3 seed, earning a first-round bye. So you're going to be taking on the winner of the 11 seed Athens, who's 9-1, versus the 6 seed Buckeye Valley, who's 8-2. Athens, their 9 wins come against opponents that all have losing records except for Meigs. Meigs finished 5-5, and their lone loss was to Nelsonville York, who's 10-0. Buckeye Valley, on the other hand, has defeated 2 opponents with winning records. That's Heath and Hamilton Township. They also defeated Bishop Reedy, who finished 5-5, and their 2 losses came to Franklin Heights, who's 6-4, and Columbus Academy, who's 8-2. So you have a bye week. You had a week of kind of recovery and work on the fundamentals, what have you. But have you kind of looked at or shown the kids a little bit of what both these teams may do?
Well, we played both of them last year.
Right.
And so we took their plays that hurt us, and actually this week we really went back to the 10-day camp. Remember in July how you have camp days, and we just had 3 camp days, and we got 2 left, and we only spent 5 minutes as a team, offensively and defensively at the end of practice. The rest of the time was individual offense and group offense and just group stuff. But one day we spent 5 minutes on red zone. 1 minute we spent 5 days on play action. 5 minutes on play action. 5 minutes on quick game. 5 minutes on red zone. 5 minutes, on 2-minute O. So we had 5 minutes at the end of every day. And the same thing defensively. And the rest of the time we spent on individual work and group work. And nobody likes an open a bye week, but we attacked it in a positive manner because I feel that our kids earned it. And whether you want, and I told them the first day, Monday, all 4 teams that owned the bye last year in the NCAA lost.
Right.
So, if we're going to attack with the same attitude as them, then we're going to have the same outcome as them. All we want is a good 45 minutes of offense, 45 minutes of defense, 10 minutes of special teams every day. We want an hour and a half from you every day, and the rest of the day have fun, but we need an hour and a half of your total attention, and so far we've been pretty good with that, but, we got Thursday and Friday left.
Yeah, Coach, you taught me, playoff time, games are, it's all from the shoulders up. Your team's going to be physical, but this is a mental approach. And you talked about, getting these kids to focus in for 90 minutes each day. What other kind of things do you do just to make sure you can grab their attention and get them focusing on the task at hand?
Well, just keep preaching it, and we have some players that are they're zoned in, man. They're zoned in. They're ready to go. Then you have other players that you have leaders, you have followers, and you have just guys that are just happen to be on the team. And, everybody has the same thing. I don't care what level you're at, and but just hopefully that our kids that are working and are taking this as a serious approach to maybe their last year of playing football. Hopefully that, like Butch Morrison used to say, lead, follow, or get out of the way. So, we're going to have some leaders, we're going to have some followers, but we need both of them. We need, you can't have all chiefs. So we need some guys that are good followers and just so they come out Friday next week ready to play as hard as they can play for 48 minutes. And that's what we're trying to lead up to.
I'm going to say something here, Steve. One thing, you developed, in these past 8 weeks. I think we mentioned Santino came into his own. The offensive line is blocking. Juice Bryant is running hard. You're getting the downfield threat from your receivers. But I think another threat has been developed, which you gave him an opportunity, and I think he's going to really, really help, is Cole Bowers. Kicking them field goals. The boy can kick the football.
He can kick. He's a great kid, man. I just, very few coaches will let guys that play soccer just come out and kick and leave and go to soccer practice. but that's not like him. He comes up, he does what he has to do, he sticks around for a little bit, and then he goes to practice. But and his dad's a soccer coach, but he just the kids bought into him, and he's he could be a weapon. And right now, he's really not a field goal weapon because that's the last resort. But man, is he a defensive weapon? Just with that, 1st and 10 on the 20, you love hearing that.
Automatic.
And it's hard for anybody. I don't care what level of football you are. It's hard to drive 80 yards, and it gets happen sometimes. But for it to happen more than not, very seldom does that happen. And so he's a threat just without kicking the field goals, and then add the field goals and extra points to it. He's had 38 of 45 touchbacks, and he's had 37 or 38 extra points and 3 or 4 field goals. So he's carried his part of the bargain, but enough talking about him. It's
I just wanted to throw that in there because he's a quality kid.
But when you mentioned it, you said the offensive line, then you said the backs, then you said Santino, then you said the receivers. So you mentioned everybody, offensively and defensively. It's just if we have one weakness, it's the middle of the field passing. But we know that, and you got to give them something. I'd rather give them that than the outside stuff, because outside stuff ends up being one-on-one and touchdown oriented. So we just.
I say that in the extent, though, Coach, of signaling them out for the mere fact that we've seen the growth of the team. Mm-hmm. The offensive line has really come along with the defensive line. The receivers, you got 2 receivers that I think can stretch the defense vertically with the speed. I mean, they're both track guys. I mean, who is it, Hinton and Scurry? I mean,
we have 4 receivers with 15 or more catches.
Yeah.
And 1 back with 15
and
catches.
they catch the ball with their hands. I mean, they don't catch the ball with their bodies.
But I was saying that in a positive way. I was saying that, you mentioned how we've all improved.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just Haney, it wasn't just the offensive line, it just wasn't the backs, it was everybody improving. And I think, I just think it's from the first 2 games, man. We were honestly, we were walking the alleys, man. It was to me, it was just was something I've never been through before, and neither is Big Red football since 1956, but they didn't finish 7-2. So that's why I give our kids credit, man. They came out and they kept fighting, and I tell them every day how much I appreciate the effort they give us.
Absolutely.
Coach, I had one last question, sort of, with the playoff format itself. It changed from last year to this year. There's been some changes over the recent years with that. Part of the reason the one year was COVID, obviously, but I know the Ohio High School Football Coaches Association has a lot of influence, or there's a lot of discussion between the association and the OHSAA. What was kind of the thinking behind going from the 16 to the 12? Was that kind of a consensus thing that everybody felt that, this might be a better route to take?
4 years ago, we and I'm on the board, we went to the high school, and we asked for 12 teams, for exactly what we're doing now. Mm-hmm. And during COVID, since they let everybody in, there was a lot of money to be made. And that's a high school's job. They got to make enough money to do whatever they're doing, and it was a good way to make money. But 16 teams, there were too many 1s and 16s playing that. We didn't think that was that good, and just sitting down and you always start out arguing, but then both sides settled down, and I just think that this was a better way to go. Mm-hmm. And the winner still has to play 6 games.
Right.
It's still a long season, and I'm still for 8 teams, but personally 8 teams.
Right.
But when you're a member of a group, you go with the group, and so we're happy with this, and we're living with this, and it's almost like the NCAA.
Right.
they're getting more teams in. Now we have 12 teams in, and it's not as hard to make the playoffs, but it's just as rewarding, So number 12 feels just as good as number 5. 1, 2, 3, and 4, they know they're at home. But, we missed it by 0.3 of a point. And when Ironton had to forfeit the last game, then we felt that Ironton should have had to forfeit all their games. Just to be even with everybody. Why should just one team get the forfeit when 9 of them could have, and that would have put us in second place.
Right.
So, but we got to win one game at a time, anyways, and it just we're going to take this week off as a reward for our players, and hopefully next week we can really get after what we got to do and have great practices.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate your time here tonight, Coach.
I appreciate you guys. You guys do a great job. Even Dan's son, number 14, who dropped the pass one time in 2005.
The best picker in the history of JCYBL.
We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with head coach Andrew Connor of the Indian Creek.
Good
I
luck,
want to
Coach.
wish Andrew and Coach with Central just they both have home games, and wish them the best of luck.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it.
We'll be right back.
You know, Fort Steuben Maintenance should be your first choice when it comes to any and all construction projects, whether it's commercial or residential. Make Fort Steuben Maintenance your first call. You can rely on them to be the experts when it comes to roofing, concrete, plumbing, carpentry, just about any job that needs done. Fort Steuben Maintenance, they're fully licensed and bonded and will even give you a free estimate. Fort Steuben Maintenance. You want the number? 740-283-4890.
Ohio Valley Sports Online is your sports authority. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Live streaming high school and NCAA sports, plus weekly football coaches shows right here on Ohio Valley Sports Online.
You're listening to Ohio Valley Sports Online, the sports authority. If you want to get your message heard, visit us on Facebook and leave a message. Ohio Valley Sports Online is on any connected device, phones, tablets, smart TVs. Follow us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe free to our YouTube page. Type in OVSO. You will get immediately notified the instant we go live with our next broadcast. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bove ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bove Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
Everyone at IWS is proud to support our area schools and athletes. We would like to wish every team a safe and successful season. Play hard, stay strong, and good luck from all of us at IWS.
A legacy committed to service and sustainability in our communities.
This broadcast is brought to you by Ohio Valley Sports Online, your sports authority. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get instantly notified when we go live on our next broadcast, only on Ohio Valley Sports Online.
Everhart Bove Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bove ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bove Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
All right, welcome back here to the Wednesday Night Coaches Show at the Harp and Habit in Franciscan Square in Steubenville, Ohio for Wing Night. And we're being joined now by head coach Andrew Connor of the Indian Creek Redskins. This portion of the show being brought to you by Everhart Bove Funeral Home. Coach, first we'll talk a little bit about last week. You're coming off that Week 10 overtime win over your rival Edison, 21-15. In overtime, the defense was able to hold the Wildcats on fourth down on their first possession, and then Ian Starkey went to Bruce Mazer for a 20-yard TD connection that sealed the win. Mazer finished with 6 catches for 86 yards and the game-winning TD. He also added a rushing touchdown. Ian Starkey had 16 carries for 83 yards and a touchdown. He also threw for 126 yards. So he completed what is kind of a rare thing to see in high school, a 1,000-yard rushing season and a 1,000-yard passing season. So I was glad to see that for him. Talk a little bit about that big win over Edison, because that was a big win. They always come in and play that game tough in the Route 43 Bowl.
Well, I think it starts without a doubt with our defense. I thought our defense played lights out. I thought, the way we played and the way we were able to contain their offense. And, first of all, they're very well coached. I think, Coach Pirro did a great job in his first year. I think their kids played extremely hard against us, and that's what a rivalry is. Both teams are supposed to play hard, and I think both teams did. But I think it started with us defensively. I was so proud of the way we played against the run, how well we played against the pass, and the fact that we went on defense first in the overtime. It takes a lot of pressure off your offense if you get a stop. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're trying to, the week before, we had to try to play catch up against St. C in the overtime. It puts a lot of pressure on you, to try to do that, because you got to score. Right. The way we did it this week, stopping them, getting that big score, and you take that momentum, you push it over to offense, and then we were able to build off that. But for me this week, it was 100% the way our defense played, and they played like they can play. I mean, we stopped the run very well, stopped the pass, and I was just proud of those guys.
Absolutely,
Coach. The thing that I'm most impressed with, and I got to see against St. Clairsville, Joe Dunleavy told me, "Don't come back." You know what I mean? You come, Raymond, first game you come to, we lose, but. What I have to say is, and I talked about it on the air, you bounce back and you win an overtime game against Edison. My attitude is the character of your team. I mean, and I commented on the fact that, wait a minute, Coach, let me hold that thought here as my man Joe brings in the wings here, because it's wing night here at the Harp and the Habit. This segment brought to you by Everhard Bow Funeral Home. But I want to maintain my thought on that, Coach, because I can't help but think, hell, you was having a heart attack and ready to die 2-3 years ago. I mean, but you kept faith in these kids because they were young, and every week you come on the show and you would say, Raymond, I know we're losing, but we're getting there. We're getting there. So my comment is, you got 8 kids going both ways. These kids been with you. These are your kids. You got the same heartbeat. You guys been through hell and back, and it's their time to shine, and that's the only way I look at it, and it's all about character and the quality of the kids and your coaching staff all buying in 3 years ago when you were playing freshmen and sophomores, and you kept saying, we're getting there, Raymond. We're getting there. I know it don't show up, Raymond, with any wins, but we're getting there. Just tell me about that, Coach, because I think it's a fantastic group of kids that weathered the storm, stayed together, and now they're reaping the benefits.
Well, I think the biggest thing, I thought that, we springboarded into the Edison game because of the character we showed in the St. Clairsville game. I mean, we were down 21-0.
Right.
Lots of teams would have said that's it, and we didn't panic. We went on defense, got some big stops in the second half, and then we were able to move the ball. I mean, we ended up with 445 yards of offense. I mean, we were able to get back to 21-21. So I think that game there was a character test for us.
Absolutely.
And the fact that, we didn't roll over. We made a great comeback. And then I think we took that week. We practiced hard. We realized we let one get away from us, and we weren't going to do it again. And we went to Edison, on the road, tough place to play out in Richmond. And, at no point did our kids falter. They played hard, and, and they rewarded themselves with a home playoff game. And it's only our second home playoff game, and third to be. We wanted a home playoff game. We got a home playoff game. The kids have had a great week of practice so far. When I get down here, I'm going to go back out to the high school. We're having a bonfire tonight with our community. Everybody's behind us, and I feel like everything is trending in the right direction, starting with those years when those kids were younger. They just kept fighting. And sometimes, you get knocked down, you have 2 options, and those kids chose option number 2, which is the hardest one, getting back up. Option 1, staying down, that's the easy one. They didn't do that.
No, I did. I mean, you got a lot to be proud of on that. And, I want to break the news to you now. Ohio Valley Sports Online. We'll be back again this week. Me and Steve.
So that's the key thing, though. Okay,
Steve.
Because when I was out earlier in the season, you won. So hopefully,
I agree.
I can bring that mojo.
He brings that St. Agnes mojo.
That's what I need to. I need a little Aggie mojo.
So talking about this week, and if you'll bear with me, talking about your upcoming opponent, because as Ray said, we'll be out there, and I prepare when I'm doing a game. I prepare like when I was coaching. I mean, I study things, and I want to bring my A game for you guys.
So I don't have to, Andrew. He does all that.
You're just going to copy. That's right. Just like when you were chemistry class at Central.
Exactly.
So you finish the season 9-1, earning that 6th seed, and you'll be hosting Johnstown, the 11th seed in the first round. The Johnnies come in at 7-3. They've defeated Zanesville, who's 0-10, 70-26. Centerburg, who's 9-1, 42-14. Watkins and Memorial, 4-6, 43-42 in overtime. Northridge, who's 4-6, 51-15. Lakewood, who's 0-10, 71-0. Utica, who you're familiar with, played in the last 2 years. They finished 4-6, 56-20, and Newark Catholic 2-8, 52-7. So those opponents are combined 23-47. Their losses are to Granville, who's 7-3, 33-14. Mount Vernon 6-4, 35-34 in overtime, and Heath 6-4, 14-7. Those opponents are combined 19-11. They defeated one playoff participant, and their 3 losses are all to playoff teams. On the season, they scored 440 points, 44 points per game, giving up 206 or 20.6 points per game. A quick look at their statistics show that they have only thrown the ball 60 times on the season for 493 yards, but they've run the ball 463 times for 3,511 yards and 56 touchdowns. They're led by junior running back number 2, Ryan Sager, 5'8", 155 pounds, who has 181 carries for 1,699 yards and 29. Defensively, they have 17 sacks on this and the turnover margin. Talk a little bit about what you see from this Johnstown team.
Gosh, I just came here and gave him my
My
slip. I mean, that guy was
goodness
on his game.
gracious,
Shoot, it was a waste. I'm just going to say ditto. Can I just go ditto? The big thing about, we've told our kids all week, they want to run the ball.
Yeah.
Okay, and what we do offensively, and we feel like we have a good beat on them. I mean, a lot of their stuff is fullback centered. They give the ball to fullback, or the fullback leads. Their tailback is a really good tailback. He likes to see the edges. If the edges are there, he's going to bounce it outside. We can play defense the way we played last week. We feel like we can tackle. Okay, be strong on our alleys and making sure that we are smart about keeping him, inside and not letting him bounce. We feel like we got a good grasp. I think Coach Hammock's put a good game plan together. I think the kids have executed well during the week. I think they're excited. And, one of the things we've done very well all year is stop the run. I mean, that's one of the things we've played really well to, is somebody's going to line up and try to, we joke about phone booth us. We like getting in a phone booth and fighting that kind of football. That's what they want to do. And we feel like, that's something we're good at, something we kind of pride ourselves on at Indian Creek, playing physical football. And we feel like that's something we should excel at on Friday night, stopping the run.
Right, and a lot of that run game too, as you mentioned, fullback led and what have you. Notice a lot too, hey, that backside guard, they're going to.
Well, they do a lot of they do the unbalance. They're going to go tackle,
right,
tackle, guard, and on the short side they'll have guard, tight end, and that's where the flanker is. So they're going to try to mix it up a little bit, see what we do, probably where our lineman is. But their guards like to pull. They love trap, and they love the old down play. Guard, tackle, guard down. Tackle down, that second guard's going to pull and kick out.
Right.
Almost, if you're an old buck sweep kind of guy, thinking buck sweep type of thing, that's what they like to do.
Yep.
I think, Coach, when we talked about the character of your team, I think that also lends to your team got to be feeling pretty good about themselves right now, just in the fact that they got a 9-1 season. You got your first home game, as you said, in many years. They bounced back from a tough loss to fall right into another overtime game in which they flip the channel and they win. And I think that all leads to confidence.
It does.
With your team.
I think it does. I mean, I think our kids know who we are. They know what they're playing for. They know they have a community behind them. They're proud to wear red and gold. All the things that I've tried to instill over the time I've been head football coach. And we had a home playoff game in 19. We struggled a little bit while these kids were younger. those kids still remember that. That was a big moment for us as a football program, to host that playoff game, and it was a big crowd, which we're hoping for again on Friday night, and our community's behind us. You can see signs as you drive through Wintersville, pro Indian Creek, and trying to rally the kids. And, right now, basically for us is, we got to be able to run the ball Friday night. There's some things we've seen in their defense that we think we can take advantage of. We think we got a really good pair of running backs. We feel like we got a really strong offensive line, and, we feel like we have a quarterback who can throw the ball to keep the other team honest. So, for us, it's going to come down to simply, getting off to a better start than we had the last couple of weeks. Fast start preaching physicality. We've got to play physical. It's a playoff game. The team that wins inside those trenches are going to be the team that wins because both teams like to run the ball. We joked, at halftime when you're doing our halftime, most teams will still be in the middle of the first quarter. When we're finished, most teams will be just going to halftime. Be a quick game. Yep. I mean, both teams are going to try to establish physicality. Mm-hmm. Both teams are going to try to say we can run the ball on the other team. And so it's going to be a battle of wills, and I think our kids are ready to be battle-tested to go against. And I think the last 3 games we played against Beaver Local, then against St. Clairsville, and then against Edison has really kind of paid dividends now as we get ready to go into playoffs because those 3 teams were very good teams. They're very well coached. They played very physical, and hopefully that has helped us kind of get better as we've gone through the season. And, some people would say, well, you had to play all those extra minutes and all that extra time. But I think all that extra time and all that extra minutes have made us a better football team. And I hope we can bring that same physicality, that same emotion, and that same excitement we played the last 3 weeks with. And, I think we'll be okay on Friday night if we're able to do that.
Yeah. Coach, I definitely believe you got a size advantage up front, looking at their roster and so on. And you're going to have hopefully you have a big addition back this week, right? Did you have Ethan Starr? Is he able to be back this week?
He's trying like heck this day to do it, and we feel like he's going to be able to play on Friday night, yes.
Yeah, and I think that would be a huge boost and lift to you guys. I'm looking forward to coming out and doing the game. I'll bring the good mojo. I'll make sure that the positive vibes.
Wear the Aggie hat. Make him wear an Aggie hat. This guy always wants to wear that Hawk stuff. Bring an Aggie hat out. Come on, let's go.
I may have to do that for Friday night.
Yeah, I should see him in an Aggie hat. You're going to come to our press ball. You wear an Aggie hat.
In honor of your father.
You got it, buddy. That's what I want to hear.
Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck. We'll see you out there Friday. We'll let you get out to your bonfire tonight. And hopefully next week we're talking about that next round and that next opponent. I believe you guys have got that mojo going the right way and that momentum, and should be an exciting game. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. Thanks, Andrew.
Great seeing you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Good luck, buddy.
Thank you, bye.
We'll take a short break, and we'll be back with head coach Quincy Wilson.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you after.
Everhart Bove Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bove ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bove Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bove Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond,
Hi, I'm Dan
and
Enoch, Superintendent of Hancock County Schools. Are you trying to choose a school for your child? Choose the school system that is consistently in the top 10 academically in the state of West Virginia. Safety comes first. New safety measures this year, and there's always a county or Weirton police officer in all of our buildings. Our teachers are certified, and our athletic facilities are second to none. There is free breakfast and lunch for all students. Attend the award-winning JDR Career Center if career readiness is your choice. Enroll today. Hancock County Schools, you can get there from here.
Assassin.
Go ahead.
All right, it's wing night here at the Harp and the Habit. I got to step in for Steve Daly. I was always a step quicker than him. we got the wings out tonight. Come on down here at McCarthy's Irish Pub at the Harp and Habit on Franciscan Boulevard. Right now we got Coach Quincy Wilson here, sponsored by Hancock County Schools. Stevie.
Yeah, Coach, a tough one last week. You knew going in. Yeah. Albert Gallatin, they were undefeated coming into the game. You go on the road to face them. They had a veteran team coming back. Did some things offensively with some option stuff that can generate some points.
Yeah, but to a man, we tackled, we played hard, which that was the thing. I told you they're going to do what they do. They ran toss, sweep 5 straight times. Mm-hmm. we think we're better than you, and we held up. You know, they had to drive. They hit us on some good calls, some counters and stuff. So, but I was excited. We tackled and we played hard. So it was a 4-quarter game, which I've been preaching. We've been since Fairmont East. It's been a 4-quarter game, and we're piecing it together, and looking forward to these last 2 games on the schedule.
Right, and you know, when you talk about yours, I know we've talked about this all year. You know, your schedule this year was not necessarily favorable with having a young team, and you know, and Gallatin, obviously, as I said, they went through some rough years. They were undefeated this year. You know, they're facing one of their better teams they've had in recent times, you know, and you guys are still building and learning towards that.
Yeah, and we traveled down there, went down to Uniontown. It was about a 2-hour trip for us, and was proud of the way we traveled. They had a great atmosphere, small town America, the band playing, cheerleaders, popcorn, all that good stuff. So we handled all that. Now it's time, you know, when we get chances to make plays, which I've told our guys, you know, we can set you into plays. Like, you know, we can tell you, I can say, here comes toss, here comes counter. We still have to play, and we still have to execute and make sure we finish and do that kind of stuff. So, learning lessons, like you said, we're definitely battle tested. You know, we already got, you know, some of the Ohio teams that we played are already in the playoffs, and good luck to those coaches this week. But still, you know, I'm excited about the challenge and excited about our guys and our staff, and you know, a great week of practice so far.
Good.
Well, you know, Quincy, nobody likes to be in the position you're in. You know, I mean, like, you know, as competitors, you know, just not winning games is a tough thing to handle. But I want to commend you for being upbeat. I mean, you've been upbeat, you've been positive.
Well, I think you got to be. You know, it's high school football.
Man.
It's high school football. Like I said, it's not. No, we're not Aaron Rodgers where, you know, they're worried about everything that goes on or every little thing that happens. We are trying to teach these kids or teach these young men, how to be men, how to handle adversity, and how to get knocked down and get back up. And football is such a great teacher of that. You know, you're going to get your butt kicked. And the biggest guys, some of our biggest kids have been put on their butt, and they're looking at you like, I'm like, hey, how are you going to respond?
I appreciate the fact that, you know, you're looking at the big picture.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't know if I'd do that. I'd be busting windows and busting chalkboards, and I'd be in the principal's office every other day. But I appreciate the fact that you're looking at the big picture, because in reality, it's a process. Quincy.
It is.
You know that as well as I do. Stevie knows that. Anybody been associated with that? You come in, you know, you're trying to set the tone, because football controls the school system.
Yes, sir.
You know, especially in the High Valley. So you're trying to set the tone with your football team, and I think you're going about it in the right way, and I want to commend you for that.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys. You know, we've got a chance to be on you guys' network and platform, and looking forward to doing some more stuff with you guys down the road.
Absolutely, Coach. Your Week 10 opponent's going to be the Brook High Bruins.
Oh, yeah,
so
we
it's
don't
Weir High Brook.
We don't even got to speak. It's Brook Week. That's
it's
right.
Weir High Brook this week. They come into the game at 3-6. They've beaten Cambridge, Lincoln County, and East Liverpool. Those teams are combined 4-24. Their losses: Beaver Local, Lindsley, Indian Creek, Frankfort, John Marshall, and Elkins. Those teams are combined 38-16. They're led by quarterback Ty Sparringer. He has some talented and tall receivers on the outside, and Grant Yost and Crosby Morris. I've had the opportunity to cover, I think, 3 of their games this year. So I've seen them, 3 of their games. Saw them early in the season against Lindsley. I saw them against Indian Creek. Also saw them against Frankfort. It's a rivalry game, and you have some common opponents that you faced in John Marshall, Indian Creek, and Liverpool that you had very similar scores or margins against as them.
We're similar teams. We're similar situations. Frank being his first year there, my first year here at Weir. You know, they're they have a little more seniors than we do, but you know we have just about the same. You know, we're the same. You know, Brooke County, Hancock County, half of Weirton's in Brooke County. So, you know, so the rivalry and the familiarity of you know both teams. But you know they've played. You just said the teams they lost to are some great teams. You know, and they've been in all those games. You know, they have skill, they have size. They have all the components. And like us, you know, they're trying to put it together, and when you're playing really, really good teams, you have to go win the game. You can't turn the ball over. You can't have penalties. They've had some of that stuff this year, just like us. So similar situation, but again, it's going to come down to who can harness it, who can focus on the task at hand, play discipline for four-quarter football, and let's see what the score is in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Well, just like you said, Coach, I mean, it's Brook week. I mean, anything can happen.
Right.
I mean, that has to give your kids, as well as the Brook kids, enthusiasm in the fact that, like, hey, I know these guys. I can beat this guy. I can beat that guy. We got to what? You're so familiar with each other. I think it's going to be a fun game.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. And they've had a tough stretch. They've had Frankfurt, they've had John Marshall, they've had Elkins, they've had 3 back-to-back, some tough weeks. And this is their last game. We actually have one more game next week. So even that extra motivation, like, hey, I'm not going out, with a loss. So there's so much emotion, so much stuff. So that's why I was saying, whoever can harness that and just play ball. All that stuff doesn't matter once we kick it off at 7 o'clock. It just matters about who's going to execute on all 3 phases of football.
Again, watching them, seeing them 3 times this year, they're going to mix things up offensively.
Yeah.
They're going to give you some different looks, different things that you have to adjust to defensively. But the thing that's difficult with Brooker, where I've seen them have their bigger plays, is when, they're going through that process, and then next thing you know, they got one of those guys singled up on the outside.
Right.
And Sperringer throws a pretty good deep ball out there, and he'll go to that back shoulder jump ball situation.
Right.
With
you
your
can
kids that
tell,
week,
you can tell he's a baseball guy. Because the ball gets there. There ain't no underthrowing. It's either going over their head or he's hitting them in stride. So we have to do a good job of plastering. If plays break down. I've seen a little bit more quarterback run game from him the last couple weeks. So I'm sure if they watched our film, they're going to want to get into that. So. And like you say, it's a cat and mouse. They do a lot of things, but ultimately they're going to try to establish the run. We got to stop the run. They're going to have to, and vice versa. So, like you say, it's great. Like you say, you say 3-6, 0-8. That's not going to be a heck of a game. But trust me, you tune in at 7 o'clock, you're going to see 2 teams, 2 communities packing that place and excited about football.
Right.
You got them at home, don't you, Coach?
Yes, sir. Senior night, 9 seniors. Honoring them and moms and dads and girlfriends and grandmas and all that stuff, which is always great. I remember my senior night like it was like awesome. I didn't want to look at my mom because I knew I was going to get emotional and with all that kind of stuff. So it's a culmination. Any time you're a senior, you think back to that first practice, you think back to that first game, you think back, and it's been about reflection, and we haven't shied away from that. I've wanted our guys to really pour into our young guys. We have 14 freshmen, and I wanted them, to experience this because it's going to be here. And then they think I'm just a freshman, but snap your fingers, you're going to be juniors and seniors. So embrace it. But also learn from these guys. Don't just walk away like, I wish I would have asked Ray this.
Yep. My man, thanks for everything.
I appreciate
you
guys, man.
Coach, appreciate it. Best of luck against your
Thank
rival,
you. Thank you.
Brook. That game again Friday night at Weir High Stadium as Weir takes on the Brook Bruins. We're going to take a short break here from the Harp and Habit, and we'll be back with the second half of our show.
Hi, I'm Dan Enich, Superintendent of Hancock County Schools. Are you trying to choose a school for your child? Choose the school system that is consistently in the top 10 academically in the state of West Virginia. Safety comes first. New safety measures this year, and there's always a county or Weirton police officer in all of our buildings. Our teachers are certified, and our athletic facilities are second to none. There is free breakfast and lunch for all students. Attend the award-winning JDR Career Center if career readiness is your choice. Enroll today, Hancock County Schools.
Everyone at IWS is proud to support our area schools and athletes. We would like to wish every team a safe and successful season. Play hard, stay strong, and good luck from all of us at IWS.
A legacy committed to service and sustainability in our communities.
Everyone at IWS is proud to support our area schools and athletes. We would like to wish every team a safe and successful season. Play hard, stay strong, and good luck from all of us at IWS.
A legacy committed to service and sustainability in our communities.
Ohio Valley Sports Online is your sports authority. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Live streaming high school and NCAA sports, plus weekly football coaches shows right here on Ohio Valley Sports Online.
All right, welcome back to the Harp and the Habit, McCarthy's Irish Pub. It's wing night, as you can see here. Come on down. I mean, big crowd every Wednesday night here. We appreciate your support. Right now we have with us Donald Trump. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Dave Sipley from Interstate Waste Services. I mean, this guy got more handlers than anybody. I mean, I got more phone calls confirming your appearance, making sure everything was set. Tim Pierce, Riley Pierce, Brandy Bowers, all giving me phone calls. Everything's okay, right? But I said, it's going to be fine. Don't worry about nothing. Thanks for coming on, David.
Thank you. Don Nealon didn't call you or anybody?
Oh, man, I tell you. Dave Sipley from Interstate Waste Services. I got a list of questions here from Timmy Pierce. But the thing that I want, we talked earlier,
yes,
and the thing that I want the community to hear from you, because I know it and everybody else knows it, the place was a mess. Interstate Waste Services come in, and you really cleaned it up. Don't have any more commercials on TV about people and lining up against you and fighting what you guys are doing out there. I mean, there's Interstate Waste Services. What do you owe that to, David? I mean, you really flipped the script on the Ohio Valley's attitude on landfills.
No, well said.
I mean, I say that wholeheartedly.
No, much appreciated. And first and foremost, a shout out to Ohio Valley Sports and all the teams in this whole region and atmosphere of it. But what we've done, I mean, when we took over the site in 2020, it was, in a polite term, a disaster.
Yes.
When I think during our last conversation, when I was asked to come up here and try to transform the site, I knew it wasn't going to be an overnight sensation. There's a lot of things in landfills that you know, when you're doing it for 40 years, you go and you look at this, and it's sort of like football. You develop a game plan, and then it's all about execution and targeting the priorities, what's got to be done first, second, third, and all the other fundamental things that require some type of a reformation, per se. And, I attacked it just as I've done in other sites. I mean, the landfill in itself, the company pumped in millions and millions of dollars to get the right equipment. You got to have the right tool. You can't be, I tell my kids, and it brings back a little time when I was young and married and went to my neighbor all the time and said, hey, you have this, you have that. He said, Dave, you got to have the tools. Well,
man, my dad always told me that. You got to have the right tool, man.
And even if I had them in my party, I didn't use them right then because that's not my gift. My gift is, as an engineer, you look at things in a different perspective, but you know what's got to get done. So we attacked everything from the equipment, some of the personnel, the infrastructure. We went in the roads. Sometimes it's like skiing. You had to drive around moguls. The moguls were like a 6-foot hole in the road, and just nothing handled in the way that I wanted and like it to be. And the desire at any landfill that we ever would take care of are the ones all world-class landfill. You drive through the gate, everything's paved. You have perfect signage everywhere. You go up to the scale house, you know where you're going, what you're doing, and you just, again, it should be a seamless process from inception to completion of what you're doing. But that's part of what we did to the site. And I don't know, quite frankly, certainly another question, but we have tremendous personnel now that are fully engaged. Just like tonight, we have, there's a Chamber of Commerce dinner. We have an ambassador. We have one on the board. Every entity that's out there, we're engaged in. And it's not for the popularity contest. It's not for anything that we want to attract attention to us. it's just doing the right thing and participating in the community.
Well, we appreciate you. That was going to be the next thing that I was ordered to talk to you about. But we recognize the athletes, families, and their school attention, that positive things are shined on you, you know what I mean? And that's what we like to do, and we're able to do that because of sponsors like you. But we know we're not the only one that you're sponsoring. You got a lot of good things going on in the communities, as you said, that you work with, and one of them is your turkey giveaway.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I love that. And again, it's something that I have craved for years, and everywhere I've been to try to give what we can. They always say it's better to give than receive. And my beliefs and what I've always aspired to is following that mantra as well, that we want to give where we can. So we started 3 years ago in Jefferson County with working in conjunction with the mayor of Wintersville, Mike Petrella, and Tim helped as well, and then the commissioners like Morelli, Timmons, and all them. We just said, hey, we want to do something for the community, for those maybe that didn't have the money for a turkey for Thanksgiving or whatever. So we started out, and we were doing it the last 2 years at the city of Wintersville's main offices there, the mayor's office and that. And we started causing a traffic jam on Main Street, so we said, okay, we got to do something different this year. So, we give out about 200 turkeys. The first 200 come and try to do one per vehicle. And we're going to do it again this year. It's actually November 20th, but we're going to hold it at Indian Creek. Mayor Petrella was able to work it with, the principal and everybody, the administration there, so we can have it on Thursday, November 20th at Indian Creek High School. And we're going to give another 200 and some turkeys out there. But I've also doubled down this year, since we are in the city of Amsterdam, and I know Mayor Phillips and all that. We're going to give it 150 turkeys to the city of Amsterdam.
That's awesome,
right
man.
down the road. So we're going to do
good stuff.
We'll do that November 19th at the city of Amsterdam at the park in downtown area. So roughly 350 turkeys, plus or minus, maybe more, that we're going to give to the communities this year.
Now, that's beautiful stuff here. Now, you talk about all these improvements that you made. Whenever you took on this endeavor, I mean, did you obviously your people at Interstate Waste Services knew. They just told you, go ahead, man, make this right.
No, that's the trust and the respect that they really laid out for me, and it helps that I've been in the business so long that some of the players that you come across over the course of time, no different than a head coach when he goes to another facility. He wants the people that he's been accustomed to, that know his ebbs and flows, know everything about him. So no different than my business. The COO came to this to Interstate Waste, and they had this facility in 2020. So he called me and offered me an opportunity to come up and fix it. And like I said earlier, he didn't tighten the purse strings on me. He said, within reason, but we talked through what were the more critical things, and we did it all in a period of 2 or 3 years. Not only from the roads, not the equipment, the most state-of-the-art odor mitigation. I think we talked about that last time.
Absolutely.
What's great about that, and I'll invite anybody to come to landfill. We do, and we have people at every layer and level that come there, because the big compactor units that compact the trash to maximize the airspace that we're putting the material in, I mean, you have to see it, but those units now, they've come up with a more novel odor mitigation system where they put this unit on the compactor. So while you're running over the trash, this unit's dispersing chemicals, neutralizers, totally harmless material, but it's a neutralizer that attacks the molecules of the odor. So that's your first layer of defense. Then we have other layers that I think I shared last time, a vapor gasification system. We have neutralizers that are sprayed in other areas. We have, like I mentioned, the most state-of-the-art odor mitigation that we have. Now again, certain waste streams are still going to burp once in a while, and with the elements of the weather, you may get something that transmits a little bit off-site, and we don't want that, and our strongest desire is to not have it, but if it does, we still attack it as we can.
You've done a heck of a job. My buddy, Houston, Texas, I mean, he used to work for Gundel Lining, and he came up and he laid, he came back to town and took me out there, and they laid all that lining out there and stuff like that. But it's always had issues, and I got to commend you guys on behalf of the whole area. I mean, I know people out in Amsterdam that live there, and I'd see their picture on the paper always fighting against it, but not no more. I mean, you guys have done a heck of a job, and that's something, to be proud of, because the community is recognizing that and they appreciate your efforts.
No, and again, I never want to say something just because I know what people want to hear. That's not how I live, and the integrity that I want to bring to the company. I mean, when we say we're going to do something, we have 5 core values. One of it is say what you mean, do what you say. And obviously there's many others: being a great team, refuse to fail. All these fundamental core values that we push out every time we have an opportunity with our staff and anybody else, just by how we live and what we do. But no, I tell people, I mean, I worked in the mines for a couple of years as a mining engineer, but then after that industry fell apart, I started putting material back in the ground, which is, taking it out. Now we're putting it back in. But I say that only because, it's a business I chose 40 years ago. Not the most pristine, not the most ideal, not the most sought after type business, but it has a strong, certain demand and command of the industry and what you got to do. Because people sometimes, I think I shared it last time, they may put their waste up by the curb and just, okay, it just vanishes, or they just know it goes somewhere. But that's, like other parts of other businesses, but there's a process through it all. And we have some of the most scientific, processes and procedures that we employ, plus being heavily regulated. So, we want to be the best of the best, and that's my desire when I go anywhere, and the team embraces it. And we're going to continue just doing the right thing, and not just today or tomorrow, but always.
Well, David, I mean, you guys have you hit the nail on the head. Where do you go from here as far as that landfill goes? I mean, is there still room for improvement and things that you can do, or you got it under control now?
No, I mean, you never want to get comfortable. Just like we know, if you get complacent or get too comfortable, someone's going to bite you, or something will bite you. And that, that's not how we're going to be wired as we go through. I mean, we want it to be, certainly a difference maker and a game changer in the industry, not just in the area, no doubt, most importantly, because those are the people impacted and affected most importantly, but all around. I mean, even like waste by rail, people, I know we've talked about that. Well, we don't want other people's waste, but it is right now, unfortunately, a common denominator in every industry, because the landfills all out in the Northeast and everywhere else. I mean, there's nowhere to go. I mean,
Right.
They can't. So, but waste by rail also has benefits. I mean, you're taking roughly 300 and some trucks with the amount of waste we get coming in every day. You're taking 300 and some trucks off the road. Not only the risk and safety factors of that, but carbon or the greenhouse gases. I mean, you're saving almost 3 billion metric tons or whatever of greenhouse gas. You have the fuel. And you got emissions.
I'm all for that, getting them trucks off the road. I mean,
it's huge.
They beat the roads up too.
They do, and that's, speaking of that, I think I shared real quick, is County Road 51. I think we talked about, we put $1 million in that to fix that. So, we're going to continue just always doing what we know to be true, and being certainly the good neighbor that we can, and also, more importantly, committed to continued service in the community every way we can.
All right, one final thing. Touch on, am I saying it right, the gondola?
Yeah, gondola, whatever you want to call it. It's called the G word.
The G word, okay.
No, that was a hefty investment as well. The key, we spent roughly $17 million to certainly construct that, but it's not about the money. But what I say is, with that, here's a key ingredient to that as well as the company. We have opportunity, we have jobs. We employ currently 170 people, plus or minus.
Oh, God bless you.
45% of those are from Jefferson County. 30% or so are from Harrison County. The other 25 are, from all different locations, other counties, or what it might be. But the gondola in itself, it changed some of the landscape of how we handle the waste. Gonds you've probably seen them down here in Weirton and everywhere else. They used to have the slag in it, the coal, and all those are pretty much gondolas. Now people will load them, with trash. But most of it's C&D trash. It doesn't emanate really odors. They still tarp it to protect anything from going off. And it goes into this big, massive building that we have with 2 platforms in there with excavators sitting on top. And the train just goes underneath them. So we load that into 78 cubic yard gondola ADTs. So we have ADTs for the GON, and we have ADTs for the blue cans. So those are articulated dump trucks. So the GON, though, provided in itself another 20 jobs for those in the community. So we continue to do things to try to enhance levels and layers of operation and the efficiencies of operation, which this helps as well. But more importantly, we're continually offering those out in the community an opportunity to work for something or someone that really has some strong stability and sustainability as well.
Hey, We're talking trash here.
The best, too. Yes, right.
We're talking trash with Dave Sipley, man. Interstate Waste Services. I'm going to tell you something. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Absolutely. Good seeing you, man.
Next year, again, I'll have someone else call you, too, to make sure we're aligned in terms of the questions.
Absolutely. I mean, Timmy Pierce, Riley Pierce, Brandy Bowers. We got your man here, and we thank you for getting him here. Thanks for your sponsorship.
It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. I really appreciate what you're doing for the people of this community, that's something they don't have to deal with no more. You guys have done a great job. I mean that wholeheartedly.
Amen. Right. Well, thank you so much.
All right, that's Dave Sipley here from Interstate Waste Services, our sponsor of the week. We'll be right back with Catholic Central High School football coach Eric Meek. This is the Ohio Valley Sports Online.
Everyone at IWS is proud to support our area schools and athletes. We would like to wish every team a safe and successful season. Play hard, stay strong, and good luck from all of us at IWS.
A legacy committed to service and sustainability.
Discover the thrill of local sports with Ohio Valley Sports Online, your go-to YouTube channel for all things sports in the Ohio Valley region. Dive into live games, exclusive interviews, and expert commentary that keeps you at the heart of the action. By subscribing to OVSO, you ensure you never miss a moment. Hit the like button and subscribe today to receive instant notifications whenever we go live. Join the community and cheer on your favorite teams.
Welcome to the Harp and Habit, Steubenville's hidden gem. Here, Irish charm dances with local warmth. Picture shepherd's pie, fish and chips, and soda bread, all crafted with care. Whether it's family, friends, or romance, every meal becomes a celebration. Join us, where good food meets great memories. You belong here.
Thank you, National Colloid, for sponsoring this broadcast. A National Colloid company with over 75 years in the chemical industry can take care of all your chemical blending needs. You're listening to Ohio Valley Sports Online, the sports authority. If you want to get your message heard, visit us on Facebook and leave a message. Ohio Valley Sports Online is on any connected device, phones, tablets, smart TVs. Follow us on Facebook and don't forget to subscribe free to our YouTube page. Type in OVSO. You will get immediately notified the instant we go live with our next broadcast.
This broadcast is brought to you by Ohio Valley Sports Online, your sports authority. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get instantly notified when we go live on our next broadcast, only on Ohio Valley Sports Online.
Thank you, National Colloid, for sponsoring this broadcast. A National Colloid company with over 75 years in the chemical industry can take care of all your chemical blending needs.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. I'm on? Okay. Welcome back to OVSO Coaches Show. I'm Tony Lely here with Phil Ruzak. Could you turn me down a little bit? Here with Phil Ruzak. This segment sponsored by the National Colloid Corporation. We're here with Steubenville Central coach Eric Meek. Central completed its regular season and a 6-4 record by defeating Cleveland East Tech 37-6 and clinched the home playoff game on Friday versus Danville, which we'll talk about a little later. Coach, East Tech wasn't a real pretty game. First quarter was kind of back and forth, no score. Then y'all exploded in the second quarter with 25 points with some kind of really interesting turn of events there, right there toward the end of the half. Was very interesting. Your comments?
Well, first off, I was very proud of the defense. I thought our defense played tremendous from beginning to end. I thought our special teams played well. I thought we played smart special teams. And besides the turnovers early in the ball game, which we had all in the first quarter,
Right.
I was happy offensively. We should have
probably went into the half realistically, instead of up 25-0, probably up about 45, 46-0.
Yeah, absolutely.
We just turning the ball over there 3 different times, but we moved the ball well. It was a good game. It was a good win. I thought our kids hustled. I thought our defense swarmed to the ball. We had some kids. I know in particular Nate Irvin had a huge game statistically, defensively. He was hurt earlier in the season. He had a fumble recoveries and a safety and just a lot of things. But overall, I thought our defense played fantastic.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that little course of events right there in the second quarter. It was right there, especially at the end. Ball went. Explain that ball when ball went out of bounds.
Well, the ball we went up 23-0. It was late in the half.
Right.
And we kicked, and it went out of bounds. Now, I actually, in the headsets, told my offensive coordinator, Doug Taylor, I said, when I've had good return teams, and people have done that, I remember one year at Toronto, I had a tremendous kickoff return team. And when people would kick it out of bounds because they didn't want to kick to us, I just say, re-kick it. One time, I think 4 penalties. Yeah, they ended up kicking the ball way back at their own 20. And I think the coach realized if we kick it out of bounds again, we're going to kick it at the 15. But they made us kick again, which, again, I think that can be smart at times. And the ball went right down to about the 5, and it stopped. And Zach Bryan and Jack Hernan, Zach's a senior, Jack Hernan's a freshman, ran down there. And the kid almost didn't cover it. He finally jumped on the ball, and like the 2. And then the next play, they ran a quarterback sweep, and Nate Irvin went in from his defensive spot and got the safety, and they kicked off. There wasn't much time left, but we almost went down and scored again.
Yeah, I probably got the ball in about 40 seconds maybe. And,
right.
And you went all the way down the field.
Right. So, it's we did a lot. Really, the only negative thing the whole night that I can think of really was the fumbles. And, that was early in the ball. We can't do that this week.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Mr. Sprockeye had throwing the ball.
Yeah.
He had some success in the air. He had some nice completions.
7 of 13, I believe, 98 yards, a touchdown. We almost had another touchdown. The other thing about Matthew Sprockeye, let me say this, he went over 1,000 yards rushing. He had 960 going into the game Saturday night, and he had 62 yards. We didn't run him at the end. It was getting a little bit chirpy, the game, and I just didn't want to take a chance of running him when we had the game. Took the second half kickoff back. Matthew Sprockeye took that back for opening kickoff of second half. That put us into a running clock situation. So once that happens, it goes pretty quick.
Matty Jones has kind of stepped up as your go-to guy as far as the receiver is concerned. Another touchdown, 3 catches, 59 yards from his tight end spot. He's a very versatile player.
Well, yeah, he's a quarterback, really, and, he's going to have to, of course, who knows who will be playing, but he'll be battling for that spot next year. And I've told him that, if as a sophomore, by playing tight end, that'll toughen you up if he is our quarterback later on. And, plus he got me there yelling at him every play, and, just that alone is going to make him. But he handles it. He knows me well enough. But, no, he's done a good job. He's had some big catches at the tight end position. In fact, now that you said it, Phil, and I've coached a long time, and everyone knows I love to run the football. Now that you say that, he may, in all these years, possibly have more receptions in a season than any tight end I've ever coached. I mean, I don't know. I don't throw the ball much, but he's had, what has he got? 12, 13?
Yeah, something like that. And he's a young player as well, and he's really stepped up for you. 106 yards of offense you held them to, and a very talented team. Not very disciplined, obviously, with 10 guys on the field a number of times. But when you hold an opponent to, especially one that's 4 divisions higher than you, it's 106 yards offense. I think your defense.
Well, what I liked is the swarming and the speed and the intensity and the aggressiveness, and that's what we got to do this Friday in 2 nights against Danville. We got to play like that to have a shot.
And speaking of Danville, they come in. They're 5-5. You're 6-4. That 5-5 is pretty deceptive, though. They play in a really tough league, and I know they're perennially they're a solid playoff football team.
Well, the thing about them is a year ago they were an overtime away from getting in the state championship game. So they were a tremendous team. They lost a lot of kids. They got a lot of young kids on the team. They're 5-5. But if you look at that schedule, they play a lot of solid Division 5 and 6 teams. And, they are a very good football team. They got a young coach, and from what I've seen from a scheme standpoint, they're very well coached. We've been going over that stuff here the last couple nights, and, they do a lot of good things offensively that are very sound. Same on defense. And, we're just real excited to have the opportunity to have a home playoff game at Harding Stadium.
The matchup, Eric, you both like to run the football. You both they're very close in yardage as far as rushing is concerned. They have a little advantage through the air, about 300 more yards on the year than you guys. But you've got 28 rushing touchdowns, and they're 21, both with 5 passing touchdowns. The thing that intrigued me more than anything was they're ranked 363rd or 383 in the state. You're ranked 561. You're hosting them. It's kind of deceptive how that. This seems like it's going to be a pretty even game. It's a pretty even team.
Well, who ranks them?
That's the.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So,
it doesn't.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to.
No, I understand.
I was literally seriously asking who ranks them.
It was Max Preps was that,
gotcha.
but I don't know what they go on.
But they're one of the top Division 7 programs in the last 10 years in Ohio, and I'm sure they're going to bring a crowd because my wife and kids and I have been through that little town on the way to Columbus when we go out Amish country.
Lock it up and shut the lights out. Everybody's going to come.
I'm sure it's going to be a nice atmosphere at Harding Stadium. With Big Red getting the bye, we hope that a lot of people in Steubenville are at the ball game.
What can we expect to see from them? They have a 2-headed monster at quarterback. They mostly run the ball, but those 2 guys can throw as well. And they've got 2 really good young running backs.
And the thing about the quarterbacks is, if you don't look at their numbers, their bodies look the same. So as far as you're looking on film, you're like, well, that's the other quarterback. Then the 2 running backs are a freshman and sophomore, same last name. I'm assuming brothers. Right. It could be cousins. But the sophomore rushed for 850 yards last year. So, as a freshman. So, there's some real talent there.
Very good. All right. Congratulations. I know this is been a goal for your players, have a home playoff team, home playoff game.
I'm very proud of the kids, the assistant coaches. I think, we had so much youth. I don't think anyone really looking ahead said, man, maybe we'll be playing at Harding Stadium week 11. And the fact that, our backs were to the wall, and I told, our backs were to the wall a couple of weeks ago. We had the winner. We were not going to even get in. And we pulled off a big win and jumped 7 spots, and now we got a home game.
Eric, at the beginning of the, preseason, a lot of people were, obviously you're always thinking you're going to be successful. Did you ever think home playoff game, 6-4, and number 3 in the OVAC in Class AA? I mean, that's quite an accomplishment for a team that is rebuilding, quote unquote.
We had some talented football players back, a few. We had a lot of kids that had never, when they played against Wellsville, had never really played in a varsity football game. and we've improved, and you know, the kids are starting to understand. We got 5 JV games in, and honestly, to answer your question, I thought back in July, I was like, wow. A couple of these places I've coached at in the past, it might have been like, you know, almost had to get the police escort to get to the locker room after the game, because, but you know, I was concerned how competitive we would be, but I think beginning with the Strasburg game, which we lost, that was week 2, 20-12, a veteran football team. I really felt that we fought that game, and I thought that game we kind of grew up, and that was early in the season.
Yeah.
And then we won some tight ones. We didn't play well at all against, I didn't like the fight that we had put up against Wheeling Central. Of course, they were much better. But, you know, as the seasons went on, you know, Oak Glen, I walked off that field that night over there, and I'm like, I don't think we played well. Then I watched the film, and I said, man, I think our kids played harder than what I thought. And then we come back, we go up to Fairport. We played fantastic football, and even though we lost, we played great against Connaught, and we played great. So the bottom line is I'm very proud of everyone in our program.
I believe you got the most out of you got the most out of the kids. It's all anybody can ask for a coach.
You're right.
I think they played over their heads.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Eric, great to be with you again.
Hope we're here next week.
Next week, we're going to look forward to next week.
Okay.
And congratulations on a great season so far. Congratulations on a home playoff game.
Yep.
Good luck to you guys,
Thank you.
and let's have the Crusaders be 1-0 this week.
Thanks, guys. You have a good night.
All right, everybody. We'll be back with Frank Cicini, head coach of Brook High School.
See ya.
Did you know you can purchase EPA hand sanitizer for your home or business? You're listening to Ohio Valley Sports Online, the sports authority. If you want to get your message heard, visit us on Facebook and leave a message. Ohio Valley Sports Online is on any connected device, phones, tablets, smart TVs. Follow us on Facebook, and don't forget to subscribe free to our YouTube page. Type in OVSO. You will get immediately notified the instant we go live with our next broadcast.
Bruin symbolizes strength, adaptability, and resilience. From the moment a child enters Brook County schools, they are forever known as a Bruin. They have pride in themselves and the schools they attend. A Bruin can navigate challenging situations and will always work to embrace change. A Bruin ensures all students understand what it means to be a part of something special and have a sense of belonging where they can study, compete, and succeed. Want to learn more about what it means to be a Bruin? Visit BruinPride.net. Brook County.
Hey, everybody. And welcome back to Heart and Habit. We're here with Coach Frank Cicini. I failed to mention right here, well, 2 things. First of all, we will be video broadcast of the Steubenville Central Danville game on Friday. We'll also be doing the Indian Creek game on Friday night. But Harp and Habit, tonight is wing night. And yeah, you're right, Dan. This killing me looking at all these wings, and I can't eat them until everyone's gone.
Go ahead, you can do it.
Get it off my head.
You won't offend me. Go ahead.
Frank will carry us here.
Yeah. So we're here with head coach of Brook High School, Frank Cicini. I'm here with Phil Ruzak. This segment is sponsored by Brook County Schools. Brook County Schools, the place to be, and our friend Dr. Crooks. So Frank is coming off of a tough loss at Elkin High School, 31-7. It was great football weather, Frank. Frank, y'all started strong. I think there's 3 words that I could sum this whole game up. 1, penalties. 2, missed opportunities. And 3, big plays.
That's 5 words, Tim.
Who's counting?
I know.
You're counting.
You're tick marking.
That's new
You're
math.
right. 3 phases. Yeah, well, I was never strong in math.
No.
I wasn't a math teacher. You may have been a math teacher. Okay, so Frank, you started off strong. Watching the game, I mean, you mentioned defensively. I thought you had a solid game plan, swarmed them. I mean, that was a good running team. And early, they couldn't do anything. Right out of the gate, you held them. They went for on fourth down, and you held them. You got the ball and moved down the field. And I think on there was a 3rd and 9. The ball was actually bobbled. Looked like a catch to me. Of course, I'm looking at it from the stands. And then, Elkins went 3 and out, and then in your drive, you got picked off, turned the ball over. And then you exchanged 3 and outs, and then they hit you with the first big one, man, 80 yards. Now, I mean, that's what they do, and it was a good, solid play, and they took it to the house and had you on heels a little bit, right? You got the ball again and held them. I mean, you got the ball in let's see. You went down into the end zone, and I don't know whether it was a fumble or but you ended up, you didn't score, and then they got the ball.
Give us your synopsis
and
of,
then they
of,
scored,
of the game,
right?
Frank.
So he made me lose my train of thought. Anyway, that first half, go ahead and sum that up for me.
Well, you never know how you're going to travel in those scenarios, going 3 hours like that. So our kids were amazing, and that's a tribute to our administration to get us set up for that travel and our booster group that got us ready. But to make that trip and to go out and play in a very good team in AAA, Elkins, a playoff ranked team that is very run heavy, which I discussed with you guys the previous week. That for us to come out there and play the way we did, and Coach DiMarzio put a nice game plan together with the coaching staff, and we sat there and talked about if we could just be gap sound and get ourselves to the football, we can have a shot at that. And it showed in the first drive. We had numerous hats there, making them earn every inch. And they come out and we kicked off to them, and they drove to probably midfield, and we stopped them on the 4th down, which you had previously mentioned. And, we just didn't have an opportunity to cross the end zone and get that big score that we needed. And we've struggled at times on 3rd down, and those are one of the things that's getting to us lately. But all correctable things. But at that point on the road, we needed that score. We missed on a shot with Grant Yost, and a few opportunities that hit us.
Yeah.
And there's a ball laying on the turf. We had a muff punt that should have been recovered. A little bit of a delay with our kids there, and that ball spinning on the turf. And for them to hold their ground the way they did, them considering the way our defense was playing, that we knew that, and which they've done, Elkins has done to a lot of teams, that if they hit the perimeter, the way the defense was set up, it was basically one defensive back on the field, and it could go a long way. So if you take away the 3 or 4 big runs that they had, and you look at the total yardage of offense they had, you could see they didn't have a strong night running the ball other than their explosive plays.
Right.
Frank, they had 4 plays. The four scores were big plays: 80 yards, 55, 56, and 32. That's a double-edged sword. You got to be, first you're upset that you give up the big play, but you got to be happy, as you said. That's 200 and some yards out of the 383 on 4 plays. So the rest of the game, the other 48 plays, you had to be really pleased with the way you
Very
played.
pleased. We had them in check, and there's the opportunistic pass they'd get here and there, and we kind of shot ourselves in the foot a couple times with some of the personal fouls. There's a few a little bit questionable, but that's up to other people to discuss. But we did have one that it was our fault, I know for sure. But you go down there and play those kind of games, you can't allow those things to get the best of you. And like I said, good teams do that to you.
Yeah.
But it was a defense. If it did break a certain level, or if there was a breakdown on a gap, that it could hit big time. And if you look at that math there, 17-7, and Ty Sperringer hit Michael Gibson on a nice little, post route out of the backfield, and he got his feet in there, got us at 17-7 into the half, and then We needed to come out and do something big to start the half, and it just didn't quite materialize. But if you look at the score of that game, it was, an effort that our kids really played hard the whole time, and they've been doing that the whole season. And I can't say enough about what they did, how they played, and the way the coaching staff was coaching. Even though these last 3 games have been difficult, we kind of lost an opportunity there to get ourselves in the playoff picture. But we went ahead and lost to 3 playoff teams.
Indications of you winning that game, I thought were pretty good. If you'd have won the last 2, I think that. What's your thoughts about that?
No, you're dead on.
You had a pretty good shot.
Yeah, and I talked to the team about that. We had listed on the board like the base points available and the bonus points available, and how that works, and the bonus points for every win that you get after you beat a team, or what they had prior to you beating them. But we had some opportunities there, and that falls on me, that we need to get fixed. And how do we compete late in the season? How do we compete when things are not quite going the right way? And to get that little bit of a fight and get them moving in that direction, to get that big win there late in the year was something that we needed, not just for us this year, but the program. And that we fell short there, and we're at a spot now where we have to look on to the next one, and that one's a big one for us. And but to go down to Elkins and play a solid game, we talked about as a staff how excited we were about how our kids played down there.
I'm curious of at halftime, you scored late, 17-7. What was the message to the kids? What was how did you feel about their kids' energy after scoring going into the half?
It was very good, and it's very similar to what we're just talking about. Like, they know what's going on. They know that we're playing well. It's just a break here and there that was getting to us, and that was really the message. Keep plugging away, and get on the board and make them chase us if we could, because they're not an offense that's designed to put up big points. It's just these big runs here and there, but they're not a passing school, so. It is what it is, but the kids played hard. That was the message at halftime: is keep fighting.
You had some positives that come out of that game that you can build on for next week. Sperringer, 12 of 26, 149 yards and a touchdown. He did have 2 interceptions, but 149 yards and a touchdown. Maynard, 14 carries for 61 yards, and Gibson and Yost both 5 catches for Gibson, 7 for Yost, 71 yards and a touchdown. Gibson, 68 yards for Yost. So there were some pluses that came out of that game that you can build on for
right. And all those names you mentioned, they've been a big part of the successes that we've seen on game night, out there between the lines. Corey Maynard's playing great football right now on both sides of the ball. We're looking for that leadership, and he's a kid that's been taking on that role lately, and I'm real pleased with that. And we're going to get our standard performances from Sperringer and Yost, right. And we're getting nice stuff from Cole Bolin and Michael Gibson, and it's a group that's working hard. It's a group that's committed to what we're trying to accomplish, and this goes back to the summertime. When you visited us, you saw the way that they were working in the summer. So it's all, the wins have not translated yet, but we're definitely working towards that direction, and we see that daily with the way the kids are playing and practicing.
So that goes into next week. 56th meeting of the Weir High Brook series.
1969.
So, Brook's up 35-20. That really doesn't mean anything. The last few have been Brook had a run of 8. Weir High had a run of 7. Brook won last. Are you starting another run? It'd be nice to start for you to start another run with that.
Talk about your record.
Well, in those years, this is the 28th game I'll be a part of as a player.
That's pretty good.
As a player and coach on both sides.
So you've been a part of half of them.
Yeah. So I understand a large part of what's this game's about. And you're talking about the proximity of a community. You're talking about a county line that runs through a city. Mm-hmm. You talk about a group of kids that all know each other. You're talking about all the coaches that know each other and the history behind it. And all
families that are split by,
Split by it. And the amount of focus that is put on this one. Because years ago, there's multiple implications when it came to the playoffs. You were part of some of those games, right. Coach, that it's Brook Weir. It's the backyard brawl. It's everything that you're talking about in the school. And you can throw everything out because
records are
gone now, because I lived that a few times where It's a different element. It's a different atmosphere. Both schools, and to see, both schools right now trying to do the same thing, establish philosophies, and having some struggles here and there. But these are program implication games now, where we're looking for things to build on when it comes to moving forward as a group with Brook High football and what we want to accomplish. And I know Coach Wilson's doing a great job. I'm seeing a lot of positives when I sit and watch their game film and this coaching staff and how they are getting better. And there's some comparable opponents when you start looking at John Marshall and East Liverpool and Indian Creek and teams that we've all played. Then now you can almost kind of see where things could unravel for both teams. But there's some familiarity with us and who they've played and what we kind of expect. And I have a strong background with the personnel that's up there, and there's some things that we're looking at, and it's always part of the chess match that both teams take into it, and it's being even kill. At this point, you have a group of kids that it's almost who can stay your laser vision focused right down the middle, not get too high, too low, and just stay focused on the outcome of the game. And we're very excited about the opportunity. Our kids are ready for it. And we're ready to go up on the hill and get a win, because I believe the last time there was a win, I think 2015 maybe, when Brook was up there and Cody Hudson and that group, got a big win. So
because Brook this last year was at Brook, so
yeah, it was at Brook.
We had won the 7 previous matchups.
Correct.
Well, Coach, look forward to it. I appreciate you being here. And it's going to be a real exciting game. We won't be able to do that game, but you're going to be on TV.
Yeah, we're on Channel 9. It's Game of the Week, and we're excited about, going up there and defending the B and, playing some Brook High football up here on the hill.
All right, Coach.
At least you won't have to look into the sun.
No, we'll be on the other side, obviously, right? Yeah.
I've
done that for years, right?
All right, everyone.
Good luck to you, we wish you all the best.
Thank you, Phil.
As always.
Thank you, Tony.
All right, so sorry, you got all right. So, Coach, this is Coach Frank Sassini of Brook High School. They are at Weir High next week for their final game of the season. We'll be right back from the Harp and
School is
Habit.
the place to be. The Bruin symbolizes strength, adaptability, and resilience. From the moment a child enters Brook County schools, they are forever known as a Bruin. They have pride in themselves and the schools they attend. A Bruin can navigate challenging situations and will always work to embrace change. A Bruin ensures all students understand what it means to be a part of something special and have a sense of belonging where they can study, compete, and succeed. Want to learn more about what it means to be a Bruin? Visit BruinPride.net. Brook County.
Welcome to the Harp and Habit, Steubenville's hidden gem. Here, Irish charm dances with local warmth. Picture shepherd's pie, fish and chips, and soda bread, all crafted with care. Whether it's family, friends, or romance, every meal becomes a celebration. Join us, where good food meets great memories.
This broadcast is brought to you by Ohio Valley Sports Online, your sports authority. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and get instantly notified when we go live on our next broadcast, only on Ohio Valley Sports Online.
Everyone at IWS is proud to support our area schools and athletes. We would like to wish every team a safe and successful season. Play hard, stay strong, and good luck from all of us at IWS.
A legacy committed to service and sustainability in our communities.
Okay, welcome back to the Heart and Habit. We're getting closer and closer till we get to dig into these wings. All right, so we're back with head coach of Oak Glen, T.J. Miller. This portion is sponsored by A&B Heating and Cooling. Oak Glen is coming off of a solid win versus their across-the-river rival, East Liverpool, 34-22. A game played without running back Logan Murray. I didn't know when I was watching the film, and I realized he wasn't there. But, wow, for some of the stuff that his sub, Jacob Everett, is that right?
Yep, that's
Jacob
the-
Everett.
Yep.
You know, Coach, just a second about Jacob Everett. You know, I saw him play a little bit. He played against Toronto.
Yep.
I saw him play a little bit against Bridgeport.
Yep.
And I got to admit, I really wasn't that impressed. My goodness, I don't know who I was watching, who was wearing number 33, but that dude can play now. I'll tell you. But, you know, your offensive line was just crushing East Liverpool. Now they scored first. They kind of punched you in the mouth a little bit. They got on the board.
Yep.
And you responded really well. You know, the thing in that stage of the game that was very interesting, you threw a pass and, hold on.
Tell us about Jacob, and while we're waiting here, tell us. I mean, he had to step into some big shoes and
Chase Hartung.
Never
He caught
mind.
a
We'll get back
pass.
to that.
Thank you. So he caught a pass over the middle, and it seemed like when you start mixing up pass and run, he just took off. Everett just took off. So talk about that a little bit.
Jacob Everett is, we're kind of two platoon at running back. Logan obviously does his thing. Logan's, a great ball player, but Jacob, he's been running ball for us all year, and he showed out Friday night. 26 carries for 278 yards. And as a freshman, it's phenomenal. Super respectful kid, awesome kid, great family. First thing he says is he credits the O-line, which did a great job for us. Our bread and butter, anybody that knows us, is our run game, which, complements and sets up our passing game, which, we're fortunate enough we have Maddox for that, and Maddox does a great job with us. So, our run game Friday night with Jacob, was great because we didn't have Logan out there. We were kind of being on the cautious side with Logan with what was coming up, and Logan wasn't 100%. We just wanted to look out for his health and what was best for him.
Yeah.
And Jacob filled in and did a phenomenal job. I mean, he came in and his time was then, and he took it and he ran with it. He did an awesome job. Seth Witherow came in, another freshman. He also scored a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
And we had two freshmen running backs just deliver.
It's a hard decision to make when you have a player of Logan's caliber. I know he wants to be out there, and you wanted to be out there. Do you play him? Do you not play him? And what's the result going to be? And Jacob just in the line. I think your kids came together and stepped up and as a unit, really went to work for Logan.
Yeah, our O-line is great. They
really are.
They've been awesome for us all year. I know, obviously, your linemen never get that great spotlight, never get the names in the paper. But with us, I try to compliment them every week because they do such a good job for us. They really are good at, pushing the guys up front and creating those holes. And Jacob will tell you, he had a lot of running lanes and he took advantage. And, he was moving. He's a very, very good player for us. He's going to be an even better player as we go and as he gets older. I mean, he's a young freshman here, and he did a great job. Jacob is such a great kid. I was so happy for him, for our team, for, our line, for stepping up again. It was just such a great thing. We had some good plays with the passing game, too.
It goes without saying, if you substitute a running back and you're running and the run game stays solid, it goes without saying that those five guys up front are really doing their job.
Yeah,
right?
no, they've been doing their job all year, and our O-line coaches have done a great job with those guys.
Who are your O-line coaches?
Pat Cheney, who also helps call our offense, and then you got Pat McGillen. Those two primarily work with the line. They do a great job in Indy. They've taught them so much this year as far as footwork, assignments, head position, like everything. You know, they've done majority of the O-line stuff, and they do great with it. So credit to them.
Any thoughts of having Jacob and Logan in the same backfield?
We do sometimes. It just depends on the set. The backfield, when we do Jacob, a lot of times you'll see us, and I guess it's not so much
Like
the backfield.
Jacob with his hand down in front.
Yeah, like a
Nice.
fullback, like a
Right.
true fullback. We haven't done that. Anytime we use Jacob, primarily we'll have Logan split out somewhere, whether it be in the slot or at the wideout. Just because obviously if Logan's healthy, you can't keep him off the field. He's too athletic.
Right.
But no, we've never done that true like that power
two-headed.
package with those two. You know, maybe something going forward.
Yeah.
TJ, this was an important game, obviously, for your positioning for playoffs. And East Liverpool, regardless of their record, number one, it was a battle of the bridge, so it's always a backyard brawl type thing. You know, their record is kind of deceiving when you compare it to their talent. Every time they did something, you answered, and you got to be real happy with that going into the end of the season, and hopefully that'll vault you into playoff mode.
Absolutely. We knew they had some great athletes to work with. You know, last week I mentioned a few of them that if you don't take advantage, they will hurt you. You know, I know one of them got banged up early in the game, one of their running backs, which, you know, real tough player. You know, the disciplined football this week helped us a lot. We won the turnover battle and did a lot better with that. We still got to clean some stuff up with snap count, and you know we've been working hard all week on that, trying to clean up the mental side of things. But you know that's
a little better. Only four penalties.
Yeah, no, listen. We're harping on those little things, and the boys will tell you we've been harping every day this week on it, especially with playoffs coming up. You know that was such a good game for us to win. It really helped us as far as making our playoff push. You know, and these guys are excited. You know, you win the battle of the bridge, and I know they were banged up. They were a little, but you know, our guys went out there, they responded, they played well, and played hard for 48 minutes. I'm super proud of our guys. You know, I'm not whoever's out there. I'm proud of our guys and the way they played. You know, we had some adversity early. These guys handled it very well. Much cleaner game for us. Still some things to clean up, of course, and we always talk about it during our film sessions and all that stuff because we do a ton of film. But no, it was a huge win for us. Huge for our playoff push. And
you got a tough one coming up. Clay Battel's not going to be a pushover. They're 7-1.
Yep.
They're number 3 in Single A. They're number 2 in the OVAC. Plus, that's a very difficult place to play, as you well know. So, what do you expect to see from the Seabees?
No, they're in a similar position. They're pretty locked for their playoff position as far as they're in. They're trying to climb. So those guys I know those guys down there are going to be fired up and ready. So that's what I told our guys, you know, obviously you can't ever overlook anybody. You got a big test ahead. We need to, you know, improve on our playoff position. So it gives us some fire and some motivation, something to even work harder for. You know, I know Clay Battel's going to come out firing. You know, they got definitely a little bit of size up front. They got some big boys. A few skill players that, you know, if we don't fly to the ball and tackle them in space, we might be in trouble. So, you know, we've had a good week of practice so far preparing for them. You know, it's a huge game for us and a lot of huge potential points on the board for us. So these guys, they're fired up. I love it.
Very good. You know, before we close, there was a couple things I wanted to talk about. In the second quarter, my man Cam Hebrock scooped up a ball, and I thought he was going to take it to the house.
I did too.
In my living room, I'm cheering.
Yeah.
You know, because he just does so much on both sides of the ball, and he if anyone deserved a touchdown, when he scooped it up, I know his eyes were like this, and he was rumbling.
Yeah.
But that was really exciting to see that.
Yeah, he's a true leader of our team. He plays with so much passion. He works his tail off. You know, and there's every team on our schedule, I think, will tell you they have a lot of trouble blocking him. He's such a force. And like you said, when he scooped it up, I wanted to run with him because I was so excited. I thought he was going to break it.
Yeah.
You know, I think he finished with like 9 or 10 tackles, 2 fumble recoveries, a couple, you know, tackles for a loss. He had a huge game on defense. Him, you know, another one of our freshmen, Daniel Janier, another huge game for him on defense. You know, and a couple guys stepped up for us. Jackson Dermer and Clayton Heisler both stepped in and kind of in their roles and helped us out and had great days on defense. So I wanted to give those guys a little love tonight because their names aren't out there all the time.
Right.
They did a great job for us. But
You had a couple interceptions from.
James Robeck, he had 2 of them. Now unfortunately he's battling mono right now. So
geez.
he's got his health things. Some, we're thinking of him. Defensively, like with Cam, he's just such a monster up front. He's just so good. He's so tough to block. In practice this week, I went in there for one play just for a scout look. I said, I wanted to block up the big guy, and he's been here. He let me hear it yesterday. He let me hear it today. Now I had to hold him like crazy on the pass rush, and I just grabbed on the pads. And I'm talking my smack to him, saying, "Hey, you ain't got nothing." Well, I had to hold like heck, and he let me hear it. So he's just he's such a force.
Really. Is he any interest in playing football at the next level?
Yeah, I think so. We're hoping so. He went on a Westlake game day visit the other day. I think he's going to try to go to Shepherd for a game. Like, we're trying to get him out there, and the other coaches are trying to get him out there too with their connections and stuff. So we're hoping he does. He can definitely play at the next level.
He's got a great motor, Coach.
Oh.
I wanted to bring up, we don't often talk about Cameron Carter. He caught a 32-yard touchdown pass. Great catch over the shoulder. I think it was Cameron, right?
It was Cam Carter.
Right
It ended up being WTV9 play of the night, electrifying play of the night.
Great catch.
Maddox threw a nice ball up there. Cam went up, got it. It was almost like a one-hand catch, kind of by the defender, came down with it, and that kind of put the nail in the coffin for us for that game. As far as it kind of deflated them a little bit, it got us up and everything. It was good. It was such a good play. Good. Good on Maddox, Cam, and our line for giving the protection. So
Before we leave, I have just one quick story to share about
absolutely.
my clay. Left, so it was toward that part of the school side of the end zone, and all of a sudden the officials blow the whistle and stop the game, and there's no flag. There's not. And we're like, what? I was with John Sereni, and we're going, what's going on? And we looked to our right. There was a cow on the field.
Oh, man.
I don't think you have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about that this week, but that was many years ago. So, I mean, those kind of things happen. I think he wanted to be part of the defensive unit because Madonna had the ball and they were traveling down the field.
That's pretty wild.
So hopefully you won't have to deal
I'm hoping not.
with any bovines in your game there. But I thought that would be a good.
That's funny.
What's your playoff implications in this last game?
We're sitting number 13 right now. If we win, we might be able to move up a couple spots. We'll have to get some help from others. I mean, we get a bye week our last week,
right?
So there's several teams that have 2 games left, so a little bit could shake up depending on upsets, wins, losses, stuff like that. It looks like we're sitting pretty good, win or lose, points wise. But obviously, we want to go 1-0 this week and try to help our spot. And,
Sure.
These guys know what they're playing for, so they're fired up and they're motivated.
Any shot at possibly a home game first round?
Unless there's a lot of losses by about 4. Unless there's several losses for about 4 or 5 teams.
You're not getting help from the teams.
No, it doesn't look that way. But to come from where we were, where the team was last year, with the progress we made as far as our culture and all that stuff, and getting involved in the community, we've made leaps and bounds this year.
It really hasn't mattered to you to be home or away. You guys have played very well traveling. You've played very well at home. So wherever you end up, I think your guys are going to be.
I'm excited for the opportunity. I hope we can finish it out this Friday and help ourselves. And I'm so excited for our boys to get to experience, knock on wood, provided the playoffs come, because they've worked their tails off, all of them. All 45 of our kids since summer all the way till now, which has been great.
Okay, Coach. Thanks again for coming, making the trip up here. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We wish you all the best coming
Appreciate
up to this week.
I do have to give a quick shout out to my boy. He got ACL surgery today, Lucas Zellers.
Oh, yeah.
He got hurt earlier in the season.
Right,
Buckeye
right.
local game got wrapped up. His surgery was this morning. So
successful?
Successful. Everything was good.
Great,
I was talking to his mom.
Julie's got to be a little bit relieved.
Yeah, I was talking to Julie today. I wanted to get those updates. So, I wanted to give him a quick shout out because he's definitely deserving and a huge piece of our team. I wish we had him healthy, but we're thinking of him and, hoping for the best for him. So.
Okay, everyone. Well, that's here. I get to finally get on these these wings. So thank you for joining us here at the Harp and Habit. Myself, Tony Lely, and what is your name again? Phil Rujak.
Phil Rujak.
And Phil Rujak, Dan Vogel. We'll see you.